Hello everyone, welcome to a more strange video. I did say I was going to make a video concerning my plus 10s in the future, and well, I guess here it is. It is a bit late. I do have an extra plus 10 to showcase now that, you know, I got Dirge to plus 10. I'm going to showcase them more so in pairs if needed. As in, this team, for example, is definitely more so a team comp that works together with each other rather than, you know, like a singular team comp. For example, if I just go in a map, and that's kind of why they are all Earth, I'm just going to go in first stratum. Probably should increase the volume a little. So, okay. Like, for example, you can see this works. And this works as well. With everyone, and with joint own speed, allows both of these to get 5 to all stats. Attack Tactic provides the 6 attack missing. Though I also have on attack 4 on him, and also on speed 4 if needed. The idea is that he is meant to just be bulky. He's not meant to really, you know, fight. These two are tanks, so Racing can heal them. And Deirdre is more so a... well, the fact that I didn't really have a green for this team. And if I need stats, well, there you go. As you can see, she can be quite bulky. And, well, yes, Racing can actually... be a bit of a problem, as in you can actually heal her outside of desperation range. She has plenty of bulk to just jump back in desperation range. So, yeah. Also, Divine Naga pushing all those by 3, essentially. As long as the enemy has, 46 or less res, which isn't literally all the game or anything. Oh wait, it is. So it's quite consistent. And same thing with Guntra, as you can see. Right now I have a Death Refine, but that's typically because we're not always in an Earth season. Typically when we're in an Earth season, I switch that weapon to Res, so I have 43 here, and here I go down to 41, I believe. Or less, I think. 40, 34... So that becomes 38, and that becomes 36. Yeah, that sounds about right. So, essentially, I just move 4 Def to Res. Because that way I am 41, 43, but then this happens. So, it jumps up to a bit more than this. Heartsblade pushes this by 3 to all stats, as long as she is adjacent to someone. They are supported, so that's 2 to all stats typically. And, you know, 6 attack. Also 3 def. Typically for Bonfire. Though Drive Res is also something I'm considering. Now for Tiki, I typically run Attack Res Bond when I'm not in AR, but as you can see, or as you have seen, I use her a lot in AR, so... kinda typical that I run DD3 because that's a bit more consistent and doesn't fuck you over when a verse is around, so, you know. I'm also running Attack Ploy to provide a bit more support as far as bulk goes, so they can work a bit better as far as tank goes. And like I said, Racing heals them over time as well. This team is really hard to go through, I can tell you that much. The main weakness I had before is that Blue would typically shut down Guntra, and I guess Surtur to some extent could be an issue, though I could literally just bait and kill him repeatedly. Because I can just heal back up all my HP anyway with Racing. And now that I have Deirdre, it's even easier.
What should I do?
Deirdre is honestly a lot better than a lot of people give her credit for. As you can see here, she gets also 3 to all stat with Divine Naga. That basically means 65 attack, 48 speed. Oh, and also 37 def and 52 res. Divine Naga also shuts down buffs, so that's also an easy one to add to the list. Like I said, a lot of people don't really give her a lot of credit, but she's really good. Next up, I'll showcase my fire team. Alright, this one should be pretty self-explanatory. The only thing I don't have on is here, I don't have attack tactic on. But to put it simply, I typically use Ryoma as an attack and speed tactic buffer. So he grants 6 attack and 6 speed to everyone, including Eliwood, Hector, and Gemki. So Gemki, not to mention, Gemki, because of Hector buffing his attack by 2, ends up reaching 65 attack and 47 speed with a Brave Bow. The def and res is largely useless, honestly. It doesn't really help Gemki all that much. 66 bulk even with res is more than enough as far as bulk goes. Hector is a Bullfighter Gale Force unit. A lot of people don't really realize how good this is. It's very easy to just use. You just basically just smash something in front of you with the full power of 71 attack because of attack tactic, which is already quite good to begin with. But then you add the fact that you can proc Gale Force off of this. It's quite easy, really. Obviously, Eliwood is also pretty good on that regard. 66 attack, 46 speed. This pushes that to 71 attack, 51 speed. Slaying Special Fighter essentially means you hit, get hit, and proc Aether every single fight. And it's really hard to take Eliwood down, not to mention 61 health. And I will say one thing also, this. I still have 1 point in speed, def, and res to go through, so there is that. And you add also, potentially I'm thinking of adding def and res buffs. But as it is, it's not exactly something I can get my hands on too consistently. So, instead I just run attack smoke for now, so that's 41 to both once I have all the flowers. 43 with Eliwood, which is quite good. And Hector also provides some res buffs. This is mostly for legendary Tiki, so he can actually fight himself. It's not ideal, but frankly there's just nothing better as far as seal skills are. It also provides 6 res to him all the time, which is quite good. Since anyway they need to be next to one another for armor march. A lot of people will probably ask me why don't I use a STN Pulse, and the reason is simple. I get all the charges from Bullfighter every fight anyway. I get all the charge from Special Fighter for Aether anyway. It could be a bit useful on Gemki, but frankly, he's really the only unit that gets the bonus. Ryoma gets nothing out of this also. As obvious as this is mostly an arena scoring, you know, kit. Because this is meant to be my, well, my third dancer with a dual skill. I also have a green dual flyers on Racing for the 2 people who wonders. But yeah, that's my fire team. Mostly quite explosive. After that, I don't really have specific teams. Well, I do have one, but it's not exactly... it changed a lot, let's just put it this way. Levitain, where are you? There she is. I typically don't run this, but rather Speed Smoke, though. I should probably fix that. I typically use Sheena and Gwen here, but I've been playing around with the idea of changing that, which I probably just should be using this instead. Who was the other win unit I had in mind? Oh, I think that's actually the issue I was running into. I don't exactly have a last one. I can kind of use George here. Oh, actually, no. No, Olivia, duh. As you can see, she's the one with the attack speed tactic. She also has Red Dual Infantry. That's kind of a given. A lot of people think that this type of team comp doesn't really work. For only one reason, and that's the fact that there's 3 red units. Which makes sense to some extent, however, that's not exactly too much of a problem. Mordecai here typically has quick riposte when I use him. Right now it's on Ike, for obvious reason. Still, just consider like as if he had quick riposte right now. I don't typically use Ike and Mordecai at the same time unless it's like Earth and Wind season anyway. He's typically there just to provide debuffs. Well, fuck it, I don't need to go down. Like, for example, I can just do this. This is debuffed, this is debuffed. Also, that's 2 Niles. Essentially, now since they're debuffed across the board, well, Gil will always give me a follow-up and they won't get a follow-up. And this is completely free. Mordecai and Rid works really well together as a result. Because now I can just... Now since at least one enemy is debuffed, I can just jump in, kill it with, and then attack smoke essentially would apply on everything around. Which means I can just essentially stay here and I'm safe for the most part. The only thing that can be somewhat of a problem is Arch Command Plus, and so on. Levitain also runs Speed Smoke typically, and Chill Def. Chill Def is so I can do a combo starter kind of with Mordecai. Okay, just smashing in, well, not smashing in, but rather killing something, giving a debuff to the others so Rid can just come in with Gale Force. Another thing worth of note is that Levitain comboed with Mordecai gets, and also comboed with Olivia, gets 6 across the board except for Res, I believe. So yeah, 6 attack, 6 def, and 6 speed as a result. And that's consistent. And considering Levitain in general, this basically gives me 85 attack. 85 attack with 45 speed is typically enough to take care of itself. I also use Olivia with Jam Key a lot of the time, for obvious reasons. Typically to deal with... God, what's the word? Abyssal maps. So, yeah. These two are meant to work together a lot. Providing the debuff so, you know, we can go in. And if it doesn't hit anything in the front line, well, Levitain herself can actually fight. Kill something, and then there you go, there's a debuff. Or otherwise I can use Mordecai to unleash the debuff. Either way, it essentially makes Rid a monster of a unit. Because as you can see, 71 attack, you deny follow-up on the enemy side, and you get a follow-up yourself. You might wonder if the speed buff is wasted on him, or rather on this team in general. Considering, you know, Mordecai doesn't really need the speed all that much. And Rid, well, yeah, I can actually, it's kind of useless since he blocks follow-ups and he gets one for free, right? Actually, that couldn't be further from the truth. You see, every time you have to deal with Wary Fighter, it becomes a speed check. So if you get 6 points of speed, that's quite useful. In a lot of ways, this actually provides the right amount of speed for you to actually double, say, Surtur, for example. So it's quite helpful even then. And like I said, Mordecai can do the speed -4 as well, to ensure the fact that you can break through multiple wary fighters if needed, which is quite helpful actually. You'd be surprised how often you can get blocked just because you don't have enough speed by wary fighter. It's honestly kind of annoying. Still, it's a good way to get around it. So yeah, that's kind of wind team. I don't exactly have a proper water team yet. It's kind of hard for me to have one. I have a lot of units in water that are at +10. I believe I have Ira, I have Eldigan. Nyla is gonna be one of them. I have Nino, but none of them are exactly what I call a great cheerleader. Obviously, there's also Ryoma. The water team is going to be something I'm going to be working on over time. Typically these three are going to be there, and then a bonus unit. I reckon also work. This is a very strong team comp in general though. Almost too strong, frankly. And also I really need Brazen Death Rest to come out. So I can run it on Nyla, and therefore running Brazen Attack Res on Ira. Because that's when they are at their best. I'm pretty sure most people have already seen the picture of my Ira dismantling a Brave Hector who was on a death tile because I was doing 3 times 2, but with Ragnalastra pushing an extra 30 damage per hit. But that's kind of the idea. Nyla can do the same thing for the most part also. Except, well, they have the same attack. She's a bit behind in speed. She has more def, she has more res. But the fact that she's behind in speed doesn't really matter at the end of the day. You have to realize it does fuck all against her because of her weapon giving her speed anyway. So if you have 2 people around you, that's 46 speed, for example. I don't really need all that much as a result. And she works the same way as Ira. Moonbow with Wrath, well, that's, sorry, fool, that's like 30 damage, sorry. And if I'm dealing with high def unit, I just get stronger, that's all it is, because Moonbow ends up having more power. Not to mention this is cooldown -1, so it's basically the same thing as Ira here. I will be +10ing her in flowers as well, then I'll probably do Ira next. That's kind of just how things are. I haven't really decided where I want to go with Ryoma. I think this is the set I'm going to keep, but it's not exactly ideal. As far as Nino goes, I have Green Dual Flyer on her, as you can see. And I believe I also have... yeah, I have Rest Tactic. So I can use Rest Tactic and Def Tactic on her. I could also use Speed Tactic and something else, if needed. I still have two Lin as far as fodder is concerned, though that's really something I want to really think about. I can just run Attack Tactic on him with Speed Tactic on her and Rest Tactic or Def Tactic as a seal. And therefore Rest Tactic on Ryoma as a seal. Which would make Nyla and Ira able to basically deal with anything they have to come across. But yeah, as far as Nyla's concerned, she has 2 set. Obviously there's this one. This allows her to hit 37, 38 bulk-wise. With buffs that would be 43 def and 44 res. And as far as attack is concerned, well, if transformed, that's 58 attack and 48 speed. However, like I said, her weapon push her attack and speed even higher, and if you have, you know, Brazen Attack active, that attack can jump up to 65. With Double Moonbow, that typically deals with everything you have to deal with, essentially. I really like Nyla and Ira's characters, so I'm definitely going to be +10ing both. At the end of the day, Nyla is quite close, to be honest. I just need 2 more copies. I need her to appear on a banner, then I'll just plus 10 her. Simple as that. But yeah, I suppose that's that. As far as other units I haven't shown are concerned, this was purely from pity, really. I went for Ira, I got her to plus 6 on her first banner. I got Eldigan to plus 8 as well. Then I got 2 pity breaker Eldigan as time went on, and I got him to plus 10 as a result. I actually got a 3rd pity break Eldigan at one point. It's laying around, I have no clue what to do with him. After all, he has no fodder whatsoever. I'm not going to kill him for Lunge or Fury. Besides, Fury I have like 20 copies of Hinata. I don't care. I literally made a 4-star plus 10 Hinata. Just so you understand how utterly useless it is at this point. Shigure, I don't really use Shigure all that much, honestly. I plus 10 them because I wanted to have a good flyer, but then, as Destiny would have it, I ended up going for plus 10ing Tiki. I needed 4 copies, and I got Naga to plus 9 as a result, so I just ended up finishing it. I use Naga a lot, actually. She's quite good, though I will say she definitely falls off a bit if you don't go high on merges. But to put it in as easy as I can put it, if I take Naga, buff her with, say, Azura to 6 across the board, and she has like 2 dragon killers around her, which, mind you, our C skill can actually provide, that's 12 across the board. That's 66 attack, 53 speed, 50 def, and 46 res. The only issue is that in AR, in-combat buffs are not nearly as helpful as out-of-combat buffs. Mostly because of AoEs. If I have to deal with an Ophelia, well, all that 12 res is not even considered. And that's kinda dangerous as a result. But she's quite good otherwise. In most modes, she is insanely powerful. It's a bit of a all or nothing in AR also because of Aversa. So I can't have anyone around her. And as a result, I can't keep providing her with dragon killers if Aversa is on the map, which is a bit awkward to say the least. Still, Mystic Boost and all those bulk just ends up making her really hard to take down otherwise. As seen before, this is Sheena. I plus 10'd her because back then ASP plus Sheena was really important for scoring. This is one of my oldest plus 10 though, and I don't think I'm gonna be, doing much with her. Gwendolyn is also more or less the same. There she is. I don't think I'm gonna do anything with her anymore. They're just very old and very outdated and very lame at this point. Fire creep happens, I suppose. Especially, why would I use Gwen, right? 48 attack, when I have Eliwood? It's a bit foolish, isn't it? Well, it's kind of just how it is, I suppose. I also have Brave Ike. I actually know what team comp I want to use him in. However, while I do have already a good team comp for him, I wish to keep that to myself because that's going to be a team comp I wish to showcase later down the line. Maybe I'll even showcase them in a video, as in them fighting. We'll see. I'm kind of wondering how well that's gonna turn out. I'll just say that the unit I'm missing could be basically hitting 55 plus to all stats, and leave it at that. I can assure you, unless you've been on that stream where I was calculating a few things concerning the character in question, you have no fucking idea who I'm talking about. Brave Lucina is also going to be on the same team with Brave Ike. I just need to get the last 2 copies. on weekly revival number 19. Oh, and for those who are wondering about Deirdre, while I will have the summon session up, I think in less than a week, hopefully, maybe, I don't know. Deirdre took me 370 orbs to +10. So, yeah. That was cheap. And I got a few pity also, like, during my time +10ing her. It was quite cheap, though, overall. George, well, the best way I can really describe him is the little train that could. Honestly, I don't use him all that much because Jamke is now literally better than him and everything. Like, it's just day and night. The only thing he really has over Jamke is res. Not really worth it. Lachesis, one of my favorite characters of FE4. Well, I do use her still. I use her mostly as a... Wrong. Where is it? Witchy one user. There we go. Jesus Christ, that's a long description. But yeah, I use her as a Witchy one user in GC. Not GC, what the hell? Roker Siege. And also as a supportive unit. I have this to work on later down the line. But yeah, this is probably the character I have the most skills on for, you know, reasons. And that's kind of it for the +10s. As for the other units, like Brave Lucina, which is going to be a +10 later down the line, and Nyla, which is also going to be a +10 down the line, their sets are already more or less finals, so that's why I kind of showcased them. As for the other units, well, that's going to be a case for later. But yeah, hopefully this was interesting to some of you. I kind of went through them. If I gave all of the units their own like 5 minutes, I would be here for over an hour, and I kind of did not want this, so yeah. Hopefully this was interesting though. I will more or less make updates concerning units I do +10. Right now I have 2 merge projects. I have Nyla, Brave Lucina, and also I have the 3rd unit, which I kind of want to, well, wait to talk about. We'll see when we get there. But hey, hopefully this was fun. See you all later. Have a nice one.